Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the all-new Lexus RX 350h. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Lexus here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this RX. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder that goes through an eCVT, and it's also paired to a hybrid system. Total system output is 246 horsepower, with fuel economy being 37 around town and then 34 on the highway. Now, before we go to the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's actually pretty simplistic with the overall design. There is kind of like a little bit of bodyline action there, but you guys can see the sharp one on either side, and that's kind of like the main detail. And then popping down below, the rest of the front end actually looks pretty cool. You've got these really sharp LED lights, and then you guys can see how the grille's kind of like darker in coloration. Still big, because, you know, Lexus loves big grills. And then you guys can see you've got fog lights there on either side, and you know what? I think it actually looks pretty cool. However, with that being said, I do think that the front end kind of resembles the head of a Beluga. I'll overlay an image so you guys can see. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I mean, like, it kind of does. Tire and wheel setup is 235, 50, 21 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the spoke design, how there's lots of spokes, but then also the metallic gray color. And overall, I think it actually looks pretty cool. We've got these body painted fender flares, which look pretty dang fancy. And then notice the mirrors body painted. You got that cool chrome trim that goes around the windows. And then taking a look at the side profile, it's kind of interesting because like the side looks pretty similar to the previous version, and especially like the back end, you can see the back end looks more like the previous version, but then the front end looks completely new, so it's kind of like a mix. So here is our key fob. You guys can see the Lexus logo there on the back. We've got our unlock function or lock function, camera focus, there we go, and then we've got the opening for the rear hatch. Now in the back here, there's quite a bit of storage space, and that's one of the big benefits of the RX. You guys can see we've got a little cargo cover here in the back, and then you can see we've got these controls here to lower down the seats, and you can actually raise them back up as well. That is fancy. And then we've got more storage underneath with the spare tire, and boom. By the way, when you're all done, you can lock it and lower it, or you can just lower it with that button. Now these are the new style of taillights for the RX, and it actually looks pretty cool. Again, light bar just like the new NX. You can see it with the new style Lexus logo. And then we have our RX 350h all-wheel drive badge, and then more parking sensors there at the bottom. And well, despite my Beluga whale comment, overall, I think that this is actually a pretty big improvement for the RX, and I do like this styling more compared to the last version. Ah, electronic door handles. Now popping inside, we have a sunshade here for the rear passengers. That's pretty cool. Look at like the pattern and everything there. And then you got the leather trim down below. And then yes, you have the electronic release for the door handle. And then you have the emergency release where you can pull it twice to open up the door. And then you got like our window control there, and really cool looking door panel. And the cool looks continue on to the seats. Look how fancy these are, again with like the pattern there on the side and then the perforated leather in the center. This is cool for Lexus. And then you guys can see with the little adjustments there. Now legroom here in the back is actually pretty solid. We've got a little storage pocket here, and then we've got some vents here for the rear passengers. I have my own climate zone, and then I have heated and cooled seats and some USBs. And then headroom back here is also good. And what is this? It's a cup holder armrest. And I think this opens up too. Yeah, pretty fancy. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see again with that trim, look at the stitching that goes throughout. That also looks fantastic down below. All of our window controls right here. With our mirror adjustments, the mirrors also do power fold in, and they've got blind spot monitoring. And then you guys can see again with the release for the door itself. And the front seats have that same fancy appearance as the rear seats with the inserts on them. Pretty cool looking. And then you do have all of your power adjustments on the side. And then you guys will notice that's for your gas cap release, and then the opening for the hatch. And then we have our memory seat functionality right there. And then the steering wheel is power adjustable. So you guys can see here, we've got really nice leather trim all around the steering wheel, and then we have these little like wood inserts. Those are pretty interesting. Paddle shifters there on the back for that eCVT, and then notice we have our adaptive cruise control with our lane keep assist, and we've got a sensor up here, so we got some self-driving stuff happening in this one. And then we've got our volume controls right there, and then you guys can see turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now we have this cool full digital gauge cluster here in the center, and then notice it'll let you know if you're charging, if you're in the eco mode, or if you're in the power mode, for example. And then there is a full-on EV mode that we are currently in, actually. And so, yeah, I think they did a good job with that. Now we got this fancy pants heads-up display, which lets you actually scroll through quite a few different bits of info on the car. I mean, like, I feel like half the controls are here in this heads-up display. So, yeah, Lexus is wanting you to do stuff through the heads-up display now. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera here with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and overall resolution, the camera system is pretty good. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is Lexus's new infotainment system you've probably seen in my other reviews. Overall response time is great. You've got a shortcut bar here on the side which lets you scroll into different menus, which lets us see the different drive modes here. So you guys can see you've got a normal, sport, and an eco. And the cool thing is when you change the drive mode, it actually changes here in the gauge cluster too. So like, you can see a little animation there. I think the sport one looks the coolest, probably. And then there is a custom drive mode as well, you guys saw on the screen. And then it's got like your seat controls here, so you can like fold the seats if you want. And then the other thing is the energy flow, so you can see what's happening with the hybrid system. And the last thing I love about this screen is that we have permanent airtime for the buttons that control the heated and cooled seats and the heated steering wheel, and then also the climate controls here at the very bottom. And then look at that, you got a volume button there. That's important. So we've got quite a bit of storage in this little area and a bunch of charging ports. We got some USBs, and then we got storage there, and then we have a wireless phone charging pad, and then more USB action. And then if you don't want to see that, then ooh. Now we've got the shifter here for the transmission. Yes, it is one of these, but nice trim there on the top, and I like the wood trim that surrounds it. And then also got our stability control here. This looks like it's like an off-road type mode. You guys can see it comes up with little trees and everything. So pretty cool there. EV mode right next to that, and then parking brake. And then this has the cup holder where you can press it down, and then I can push this button, and then it'll bring the cup holder back up. And then with the center console here, look at like the padding and everything here on the top, and then there's a button here on the side you can press to open it up. Decent storage space there, and pretty cool look overall. So it's kind of hard to see, but you guys can see you've got the Alcantara there, and then notice it like continues into the dash here. I think that's pretty cool. Again, it looks nice aesthetically, and then you got some wood trim down below there. And then we got a glove box. And then up top, this does have a camera mirror, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of. Controls for the sunroof, and yes, full panoramic sunroof. So it's kind of hard to see the window sticker here for this RX 350, but this is in the luxury package if you guys are wondering. Almost everything is standard equipment. Base MSRP on this one, $57,000. This has a few options added to it. Total MSRP on this one, $62,765. And you know, this is my first time again seeing the new RX, and I'm actually pretty impressed. And you know, this is probably the quote-unquote least exciting version of the RX because it's the base hybrid that has, you know, the least amount of power. The new turbocharged 4-cylinder has more power here with the new RX, and then obviously that new 500h with the crazy, you know, turbocharged hybrid is, you know, obviously gonna be a little bit more exciting. But you know, for someone that just wants a comfortable, economical RX, that's what this is going to give you. It's gonna give you great fuel economy, and it's gonna be less expensive, frankly, compared to like a 500h, for example. So I think this model will actually be pretty popular for those of you that just want, again, a comfortable luxury cruiser. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this RX. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Lexus here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this RX. I'm gonna include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'll see ya.